Hello, all you lovely freedom people out there, and welcome to today's Fireside Freedom Chat on the Freedom People Podcast, where we get into the nitty-gritties of all your freedoms and my freedoms, all the freedoms that we can think of anyway, as we collectively take this journey to ultimate freedom together. I'm your host, Bradley Freedom, and I'm absolutely honored to be on this journey with you. Today's guest is none other than Flat Earth Dave. That's right. Super excited and ecstatic to introduce Flat Earth Dave to my whole crew, my family, my community. Because, this is something that's, I know it's a weird one to even want to talk about and think about, but that's kind of why I like it. If you know me at all, I like stretching my brain out as far as I can get it. And something like this that we take for granted, like, oh, well, of course we know it's round, where, of course, in the past they knew it was flat. And anywho, who gives a crap about all that? That's not what this is about. This is about just exploring some really cool new ideas, and he's got some really compelling arguments. And, we love him, and this is a really fun show. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So, before we jump in, what I need you to do is grab your phone and type in the keyword Flat Earth. And you're going to send that to 844-992-3733. That's 844-992-3733. And we're going to send you out today's show notes. Not only that, but you want to be connected with us. We've got some really cool things happening. Just this last week, our PHA, PEA, and PMA were full. Come on, let's go. Right. You want to rock? We can rock it, dude. I think we're already recording. Let's go. Dave, honored. Thank you so much. Flat Earth Dave, everybody here on the Freedom People Podcast. Holy shit. Honored to have you here, man. You're the first guy you're the guy that did it for me, man. I was just like, there's too much. Dude, I love you're putting out content, and man.
How long ago did you realize that you weren't on a spinning space ball flying through an infinite cartoon vacuum?
2 years ago. It's
been, nice.
That's when I started to, you know what I mean? I was like you, similar story. People were telling me all that. I was like, dude, get out of here with that garbage, dude. I was like, there's all this other shit going on. Like that's just nonsense. Right. And then I met Flat Earth Dave on a YouTube video, dude. And it was that and Benjamin Owen. Watching that and watching his
Owen Benjamin,
watching him kind of like freaking go through it. I was just like, oh man, is this real? And then, man.
Owen was great. We're really capturing his awakening live. Yeah. And then I put that compilation together. It's one of my favorite videos. I often feature it on the app just for new people that haven't seen it yet. And it's great. It shows how you can lay down your ego and go, you know what? My whole life's been a lie, but now I see the truth. Now I can really take charge of my life.
Absolutely.
Right? How's life been since you realized the earth is flat? Besides losing family and friends and being ridiculed, besides that, isn't it more amazing? Isn't it open up your mind to expansive thought?
Well, absolutely, man. Because I've always been a big fan of, philosophy in general, but like are we in a hologram? Is this, intelligent design? And that just makes a lot more sense. Not only that, but for me, that's sacred geometry stuff, right? Well, the Fibonacci sequence, things Love that it. you see in nature, in our things that we can prove in natural, as above, so below. Now, because of that, it makes me think that we're like honeycombs, but like aliens are next door, not way out, you know what I mean? Or even inside or whatever. But the stories that were told, I'm absolutely total BS. And now with these jokers all these billionaires acting like they're going to space and shooting his car up into Mars and whatever, dude, get out of here with all that. It's becoming cartoony, like very cartoony.
Right. If you look at the Bezos, flying penis, This is what they showed us. Look at this motion that this thing is making. This is what they showed us. Right. I mean, they are laughing at us. They're children. They're showing us this.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing ever. And then all they did was I don't even believe they did it in his thing. This is just a regular 0G flight where they're flying around. He looks like he's about to throw up. They got the girl with the long hair flipping around. This is P-Brain who made this video, just putting himself in there, showing how easy it is to fake this nonsense.
Yeah.
So that's all he is in a 0G plane. And you can do it. It's $5,000 and you can go take a whole bunch of 0G flights and you can float around for a few minutes.
Right. It's just, it looks very, very cheesy to me, the whole thing. And like you said, the flying dick is kind of funny.
Yeah. So it's absolute insanity. So where do you want to go?
Oh man, I don't know. Let's I mean, I want to start. Well, the only real question we have for you is the International Space Station. So, like last year or year before, whatever, before all this craziness went down, we were watching the International Space Station, quote unquote, whatever it is. And it might be International Space Station, but it's just not in space. I mean, whatever that even means. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is it that they're showing us? I mean, that thing's going really, really fast across the sky, but it's also not that far out there.
It's going 17,500 miles an hour. They tell us. Right. But the observations that we see, make absolutely no sense. Sometimes we can see it going from horizon to horizon in like 5 minutes. I forget all the math about it, but none of it adds up.
Yeah.
And so I should be able to see it, the amount of time I'm watching it, it should be all the way over in California from the East Coast. And that's impossible. And then people don't see it along the path. What we're seeing is a remodified military aircraft with LED lights on the bottom, maybe even holographic technology. I don't even think it needs that. And it's just making these routes. And a whistleblower said there's 5 of them, and where they're kept. And they just basically, if you watch where you see the ISS, there's times you see it and then it just disappears and no one can see it again. It's because they turn off their lights. They're going to get more fuel or whatever it is.
Right.
And then the other thing is the size of the ISS make no sense. Right. So by the way, what I'm showing here is this is the only cartoon of the space station being built. It's never built on Earth. Different countries made different parts and sent them up into space where they are assembled for the first time in this ridiculous thing. They had to make adapters that go in between them because like Russia made one part and America made the other part, and they didn't make the same door. So they created an adapter, never tested it on Earth, and just sent it to space and built it. And during the construction, they didn't bother to take a single photo or video of the construction.
And they say people live there. Like you get it right. I mean,
people are there now as we speak. And China or Japan, China just made a new space station and they forgot to take any pictures of its construction. Okay. And now there's people up in the Chinese space station. And if you just go look at the videos from it, it's the most ridiculous stuff ever. I mean, just on ours, all the stuff they're faking. Look right here, there's nothing here. And now there's a stuffed animal. Right. And now she's manipulating a faked stuffed animal. This balloon is real because it's filled with helium. It's a beach ball filled with helium. And what she's doing is manipulating CGI objects in real time just to fool people, right? Yeah. These guys are, he dropped the ball. Why'd it go down? Well, he squeezed the helium out of it a little bit, right? And that guy went to reach for it, and his harness stopped him from reaching. It literally, he reached up, can't get there.
Gotta go back.
Yeah, gotta go back.
Dude, all that stuff and the delay thing. That delay, that's the biggest joke in the world. One-way delay. I mean, come on, bro.
Oh yeah, I just put a video up on that. You saw that? Did you watch it on the app? Was that one of the?
I must have. Yeah, I got your app a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So the where they're like, do you Houston? Do you hear us? And the guy's like, 4, 5. Yeah. Like, yes, we hear you. Do you hear us? The guy's like, yes, we do. Right away. Like before he finished the sentence.
Yeah. Before he could even get it out all the way.
Yeah.
He's like, we got
I know. That happens all the time. They're just so friggin' stupid. I can't imagine that they're that stupid, but they might be, or they're just rubbing it in our faces. Like, let's give them a chance. Let's see if they can actually figure this out.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where, we're big into law and natural law and all that stuff, and
Absolutely.
helping people to correct their status and protect themselves in a private domain, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it's that same sort of thing, is that literally the way the system works is let those who would be deceived be deceived.
Yeah.
And that's basically what they're saying. If you're dumb enough to believe this, well, then go ahead.
Somebody took this clip. I was showing this. I had this guy who was swearing that the space is real and everything. I'm like, why don't we see the land? And he goes, oh, because you're over the ocean. I was like, is it possible that this is deceiving you? And he's like, no, whatever. And I'm just like, watch. I said, watch. And I said, this isn't from the space station. This is from our front yard. And we just turned the camera upside down and used a solar panel. And he's like, oh, and it went on TikTok. It's got like millions of views. So again, it's ridiculous. And in this thing, that's another joke. That's the space shuttle tank falling back to Earth. Does that look like it's falling, or does it look like a balloon that's floating?
It looks like a balloon.
Yeah, they are balloons. NASA is the largest user of helium in the world. This is being filmed by the guys that are on the shuttle that are still rocketing into space at 17,000 or 21,000 miles an hour. Okay. They're going up. This thing is falling back to the Earth where it's going to burn up because it's falling so fast. Okay. Watch right here. A tissue is going to blow by in about 2 seconds. There it goes. Okay. That shows you that this thing is barely moving, but they're filming it. Why they're going up at 20,000 miles an hour. This thing's falling
down,
and they're filming filming it. No problem. No problem. Okay.
Get out of here with that. Right.
This is a helium balloon. Okay. This is ridiculous. And it's barely moving. Think about this. When the shuttle comes in, or, rocket comes in, it's got the heat shield and it heats up to red hot, and all the stuff. It's coming in at 16,000 miles an hour. But when it's going up, it's leaving at 25,000 miles an hour. Doesn't need a heat shield when it's going up at even a faster speed.
Dude, hey, I never thought of that. Holy moly.
I can tell you the Glover answer to that is because when it's going up, the air is getting thinner and thinner. And so it's going away. It's when it's coming in, it's going into thicker and thicker air. They could just make up stuff. I could be a Glober and just make up anything. Yeah. Like you just make up stuff and none of it's verifiable.
Well, that's like, to your point, man, many times is that it's much, and for me now, it's much easier for me to conceptualize now and prove flat than round. It's so complex.
Right. What do you think this is? An actual space shuttle or a bouncy house filled with helium?
That looks like a bouncy house filled with helium.
Yeah.
Now that you pointed out, right? And it's just like, oh.
Yeah. It's so absolute ridiculousness what they show us and what people believe. This is a light show. This is all helium. It's going up. This tank, the reason it goes upside down is because this is a little heavier than this. And so these rockets are helium balloons also. And there's maybe there's a little bit of thrust. The thing's just going up because it's a helium balloon. It's shooting up into space. It's shooting up and it goes away. And then we don't see it. They show us a cartoon. That's all it is. Craziness. Craziness.
Dude, another thing. So, dude, here's, and I asked my buddy, I got a buddy, he's a pilot. And I like to talk to him a lot. He doesn't really like to talk to me about it, just for me to shut up. Right. And it's stupid to talk about. Right. So, because I was asking him, I was like, so a few things. The one is if we're really spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, right? Then when you take off, like, let's say you're taking off from Panama, an airport in Panama, and I want to fly to Phoenix, Arizona, the ball is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, but then do I have to adjust my spinach? And he says, no, it's because you're trapped in this thing. Right. And I just had a conversation the other day about the same thing. He's like, yeah, if you're in a train in between trains and you drop a marble, the marble will stay there and right. And not move. And that's kind of his thing. Right. And so do you get what I'm saying? Like but
that he's just throwing words out there. That doesn't make sense. If you take off from Alaska where your rotational speed is maybe 300 miles an hour. You fly to Ecuador and you want to land on a runway that's oriented north-south that's moving 1,000 miles an hour sideways. Where does that marble on a constant speed of a train come into effect? Because that marble is only going 300 miles an hour. It gets to Ecuador. Where's it getting the extra 700 miles an hour of sideways spin to go? Right. Yeah. And it was, the air is taking you. Well, air blows left, right, up, down. Breezes go in all different directions. They're not locked to the earth. They're sitting here. Air pressure. We're on this flat plane. We're contained. You can't have air pressure without a container. There's some sort of container, and that doesn't work on a spinning, ridiculous, flying space cartoon ball.
Right. Well, right. Yes, and that's exactly my point to him. And basically, but his answer is that we're spinning inside of this thing, but it just doesn't make sense. And the more that you try but you know what? If it makes dollars, it makes sense, Dave. I can tell you that.
That's true. And that's where I say, with all the crap going on in this world right now and all of the tyranny and all of the, deception and you're into this, letting people reclaim their rightful, ownership of this world. That's what this is all about. This is about hiding the creator, hiding who you are, hiding the reality of this world, limiting your creation machine. That's your mind. Your imagination is what creates this reality of yours. This is your life. And it's contained. They put it in a ball, and then they keep you in fear. And then we're playing on their monopoly board. Okay. And monopoly board where it says if the bank runs out of money, just write some more on paper and keep playing. Okay. That's ridiculous. We can't win with those two things. You have to know where you are, who you are, what you are, why you're here. Maybe not even the why, just figure that out, but just who you are, what your purpose is, and then stop playing on their monopoly board, and they're done. They're finished. We're the ones with the power, but we keep giving it to them by using their money, by believing their nonsense and limiting our ability to manifest.
Right.
Okay. Look at Neo at the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of the Matrix. He's trapped. His mind is trapped in the Matrix. He's limited and he doesn't know who he is. And then at the end of the Matrix, he's unplugged from the mental mind matrix. And that's what flat earth does to people. It unplugs them from that control system, and then they take back, put Neo from the end of the movie, put him next to Neo at the beginning of the movie. Totally different people. Different people.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So he found his power, man. He got his power.
He took his power back 100%. Yep. And people, people say, well, what has flat earth done for you? My life is phenomenal. Even during this chaos that's going on, it's like, this is my life. I could live it in fear, or I can live it to the best that I can, doing what I'm doing, talking to people, waking up people like you. Thank God you woke up. This is fantastic. Now you're waking other people up. Everybody needs to do this. There's no more time to hide in the closet. Closet flat earthers are also the problem. Okay. Right. You need to speak up.
You do. You do say it. It's okay. It's fun to talk about. See, and that's the thing. Even if you get ridiculed, and that's why I have so much respect for someone like yourself, David Icke, people, man, who just, in the face of people just talking shit. I mean, and catching just so much shit. You're just like, fine. Right. And there's something that's empowering about that too, man, that I think that people, once you really stand up, even if it's just to stand up to say, well, I have questions, because I think that that's the first biggest step for anybody, right? Is just, admitting that maybe, just maybe you've been fooled. Just maybe, maybe so many people won't even get there. You know what I mean? It's just absolutely not.
Maybe I'm not on the space station. Maybe I'm faking this weightlessness. Okay. Woo. Hello.
Nice,
maybe,
dude.
Or maybe I am on the space station. Okay. Whatever you want to believe.
Right.
Give me a friggin' break. Let me ask you a question. Are there any flat earth friends in your physical life?
My wife.
Your wife. What if you found out that your neighbor was a flat earther? Would you be happy?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Do you know why? Because then I know that they have an open mind. Right. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's completely wrong, I don't give a shit. The point is that we're exploring it. Do you know what I mean? Right. And that's that right now. That's a big thing we can't do with all this censorship and shit. That's just where we are. We can't question anything, dude. Look at the freaking scientism that's going on.
I know. I have a video of this doctor that just literally laid out what's going on. And I'm trying to I can't upload it to YouTube. Right. And it'll be on BitChute. I'm literally just got it. It was so difficult to download it because it's not on a regular site, and it's amazing. So that'll be on my BitChute channel. But you have my app, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my app with you and show you something real quick. This is coming. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. And we're literally in the final stages of testing. Hopefully it'll be up within a week, maybe less. Maybe I'm hoping this week. New button, top left one on this setup is a handshake. You hit it and up comes a map of the world. And these are other people that have my app.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
So,
nice.
So watch. If I zoom in, like, let's say, what's going on here? If I zoom in, no, not that one. There's people like here. If we go here, you'll see that these dots, there's actually more dots than you realize because there's people that are just close together.
Right.
And then you could tap on one of them and send them a message. Bam. And you can locate other flat earthers near you.
No way. Nice, man.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And so check this out. We just tested this out. I have maybe 100 some odd testers around. I think it's around 100, right? Got some people over here, some people in Australia.
Yeah.
Zoom in, you see that there's more. This is just my 100 testers, and they're already meetups are happening. People are carpooling to the conference. People are, in South Carolina. Excuse me. People are literally meeting people in their towns already. This is just with my 100 testers. When this goes live, there's going to be 1,000 dots for every dot that you see. Okay. There's going to be over 100,000 dots on here. It's going to be insane. All right. So the app does a ton of the new red dot over here is my, it just tells you I have some messages. So I got new messages, and there you go. That's how it works.
Nice, so man. Congrats, look out for that. That's awesome.
So the app is, as you know, it's $3, and you don't have to be a subscriber in the past to do anything. And you don't for this. If you want to send messages to other people, you have to be a 99-cent subscriber. It's $11 for the year. You're buying me a margarita with maybe $1 tip, depending on where you're going, and then that's it. And it's great, and it's worth it. Everybody,
so many people together. You, it's so much fun. His app is so much fun. The videos that you always have on there and stuff like that. One was that Balls Out Physics or whatever. Like
Balls Out Physics. Yeah, I'm doing actually the series of those right now. Because there's so many people that those are actually old videos, but there's so many people that haven't seen it. So what I tell people is every day, there's a new video just while you're having your breakfast. Watch the new video each day, and it'll open up your mind. It's literally like going to the gym for your mind, right? Mm-hmm. People get up, they go to work, they come home, they watch TV, they watch sports, they talk about the weather, they talk about politics, they listen to music and whatever, if they're lucky, and then they go back to work.
Yeah.
Okay. This is gymnastics for your mind.
Yes.
Once you start using your mind and you can start seeing the world, you'll start manifesting the world the way you want it to be.
Amen, brother, dude. And that's exactly it. And that's one of the things that I think is another misconception is that life is happening to us, right? Where it's the other way around. We are happening. We are creating life, right? We are the
100%.
ones creating it. Right.
100%.
And that's one of the things they're trying to keep from us, right? Is that it's what we want to manifest, we can do. And especially now, bro, with this mass awakening, and this is part of the information, I believe, man, so well said, it's gymnastics. And I would encourage everybody, even if you're like, fuck, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard, just go watch a couple videos, man.
Here's the thing. If it's the dumbest shit you've ever earned, and you know what a Bitcoin is, I'm offering 3 Bitcoins. I believe that's over $150,000 for one proof of the globe. But you have to take the app challenge. You have to watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks. Or you can just hit the archive button and just go back and watch the previous 2 weeks, right? All in one sitting. And then if you still think the earth is a globe, send me the proof. And you win.
3 Bitcoins. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. 3 Bitcoins.
3 Bitcoins.
Prove it. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I'm offering another reward, 100 Bitcoins for anything dumber than the heliocentric model.
Touche. It's pretty intense, right? And I love how you put it. I mean, because it's so very true. And that's how they keep knowledge and information hidden. Well, it's only a very select few who can speak this crazy, insane language like Tyson, right? And who's Bill Nye the Liar guy?
Bill Nye the Lying guy with the bow tie.
Yeah. It's like, and these guys are plastered everywhere. I mean, Bill Nye was at, do you know what Electric Daisy Carnival is? EDC, you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it, yeah.
It's like a huge, like millions of people at this rave, right? Or whatever, right? Huge thing in Vegas. And he was like a speaker in front of all these people. And it's like the indoctrinate. I saw it for what it was. I was like, oh, that douche is like, what the heck? But that's what they do. It's in the culture. They take these couple guys that are speaking the same gibberish, and they're the only ones who can really explain how the entire universe works.
They've really captured, with these music festivals is really how they're capturing a lot of the minds of the people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's people that are, you know, going out and getting this thing because they want to go to music festivals. Right. It's amazing. That's
scary stuff. I cannot believe where we're at. The state of, I mean, right. How do we go from 2 weeks to slow the curve to show me your papers?
Yeah, easy. This is going on YouTube, so we don't want to talk about that stuff. But if you want to find out about that stuff, you can go to stoplookthink.com. Stoplookthink.com. The stuff that's not allowed on YouTube, from the thing that we were just talking about to all of the other deceptions, like the New York thing that happened in September and the Connecticut thing that happened at the school. And,
and see, even that right there, how crazy is that we have to like censor ourselves? It's like, it's creep.
Here's the thing. People that don't know that the world is a lie, that they're living a lie, they don't even know that there's censorship on YouTube, because the censorship is censoring them. They don't know any of it.
Dude, they don't know. Completely brainwashed. I have friends that all they say, safe, effective. They're repeating over, but will not listen. The cognitive dissonance right now is absurd. It's impressive. Well done to the evil side, but we're here. So we're here to take it back.
Yeah. You were talking about the ISS before. When you look up at an airplane in the sky, you can barely see it. It's tiny. You can't even see the engines. Okay. Right.
That's an airplane that's right there.
That's an airplane that's 5 miles high. That's 747. So if you double the height of it, could you see this? Of course not. Absolutely not. You have to believe when you're seeing that light that tell you is the ISS, that it's 50 times higher.
No, that's what I said. It didn't make sense. We're like, but
50 times higher. Right, and then people that think they see satellites about the size of a jet engine. Well, you're seeing a jet engine, which you can't see here, at like 100 times the height. Okay. The
numbers don't add up.
But here's the thing. People are unable to process that information. They're fluoridated and they're indoctrinated into the regurgitation camps that they go to that they call education. Mm-hmm. And so they're just like, oh no, you know, it's a light reflecting off of it. Light travel. You're not really seeing it. You're seeing the light that was traveled there 1 billion years ago. I mean, they just memorize nonsense and regurgitate it. It's unbelievable. The distance that they tell stars are ridiculous. We couldn't see a star that's a light hour away, let alone light years away. Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's nonsense.
Yeah. And the fact that all the constellations are always in the same place, the North Star, I know that that was one of the things you did, right? Experiment. You put a stake with a hole, right?
Yeah. I had a pipe where I looked through and it went right to the North Star. And no matter when I went out there for years, the North Star was always in that hole every night. And I didn't do that to prove the Earth was still. I just thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Right. And that's right. And that's another thing, the water and the bending, like that picture of that sphere and the water, like it's perfect sphere. Right. And there's nothing in nature that does that. You know that, right? Like a perfect sphere does not really exist. There's those weird balls we found, right? Whatever, that are in the Earth. But I mean, it would be more like a teardrop shape, if anything, right? Because that was another argument that I've gotten was, well, water does do that if it's suspended in air, like a water drop, right?
Large bodies of water, anything bigger than a bucket of water lays flat at rest, period. Okay. Right. Don't give me the
or even your margarita, margarita. There's it just is what it is, man.
The Georgia Guidestones, you know, but you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Besides what they mean and everything, there's a hole. And when you look through it, what do you see? You see Polaris, and it doesn't move. And if you do a time lapse, the stars go all the way around it. It's been up for over 40 years. We're traveling 4.5 billion miles a year. Okay. How the heck is Polaris still lined up with that hole? The Polaris wouldn't line up with it after they're finished drilling it. The second they were done drilling it, it would move. Okay.
Right.
But the Globers will go, oh, it's because it's so far away that the parallax doesn't matter. 4.4 billion miles a year times 40 years. Okay. And the star never moves. Although NASA will tell us they can tell the distance of stars because in June, they'll look at two stars that are in alignment with each other. And then in January or December, when we're 186 million miles on the other side of the sun, they can see the difference in their relationship, which is called I just spaced on the word, I just said it. What's it called? It's when something moves in the distance at a different speed, it's called parallax. And so they say that they can tell the difference of stars because of the parallax of 186 million miles. But the 4.4 billion miles that we travel every year, B with a billion with a B, doesn't cause any parallax. It again, they're not. I don't know. I would go back and forth. Are they that dumb, or are they just treating us that we're that dumb? I think this is an intelligence test.
Yeah, I think it's the latter, man. And the more and more again that we start to learn about what law is versus legal versus lawful, and like there's again, it's a mirror universe, and they're letting you, if you're to be fooled, they're going to let you be fooled. Keep believing and being fooled. It's kind of like this rule of the universe of the evil people. They can do whatever they want as long as
they tell us
consent. Yeah, they're telling you everywhere.
I used to laugh at that. I'm like, come on. And I realize more and more I look into it, it's like it is totally the way. This is how I see the world. That we are here having an experience here in this realm, okay, where we have a soul, which is a spark of the creator. Let's just leave it at that. And our goal here is to maintain control of our soul and expand the mind of the creator. That's it, okay? Mm-hmm. And you do that by not breaking anyone else's free will. And if you break their free will, then you lose control of your soul, right? And so they're trying to steal our soul with the soul lure system, but they're always telling us, they make it so obvious what they're doing.
It's in all the words, it's in everything that they do. I mean, when you're registered as a being you're giving ownership, there's this whole craziness, but people don't do the work because you know what? It's hard. It's much harder to think about things. Right. And like you've said this a lot, you know what I mean? Like I could come up and tell you something because I'm in a cool little white coat and tell you something. And then you just believe it because now your day's done. You don't have
Belief is easy. It takes no effort. Belief is the enemy of knowing, as Crow 777 Radio says.
Yeah.
Are you a subscriber to Crow?
Yeah, I love Crow, man.
Of course, you can't miss one of those. I tell people that have college age kids, don't send them to school. Send them somewhere to have some fun and make them listen to one episode of Crow every day until they're done with the 300 plus episodes. Yeah. Okay. And or whatever the number is. And then I'll hire them because they'll be smarter than any college kid I've ever seen.
Exactly. Well, exactly. Well, because it, like you said, it's an indoctrination system, not an education system.
It's horrible.
Period.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. This world is, people are so separated from nature and from what this place is. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you live in a big city, man, you know, and that's the thing is most people don't realize that most of the population, a great number of the population lives coastally, which means everybody lives in these big cities. I've lived in San Francisco, LA, all the big cities, right? Or at least over here on this coast. And like, it's much easier to sell you on the lack and the scarcity. If you know what I mean, if you live in those, I understand if 90% of the population isn't all on coast. Have you ever driven across the United States or Europe or anything? Dude, there's lots and lots of empty space.
There's nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. But they have everybody scared that we're running out of space and we have no food, no resources. And that's total BS.
The whole world can fit in Texas and with plenty of land. So there's that's the whole thing. No, we're running out of resources. We're running out of fuel. We're going to be blown up with nuclear bombs by Kim Jong-un. The sun's going to explode with polar reversal. All of this just to keep us in fear when none of it is true. There's unlimited resources, unlimited fuel, unlimited helium. They say there's a helium shortage, so we can't have giant ships floating through the sky, right? They tell us all of this nonsense. It's all to control us, and they control us with two things: by putting us in a restricted ball that limits your imagination and controlling us with their fake money. We're playing on their monopoly board.
Absolutely, man. Well said.
Yeah.
And like you said, we are the power. If any given time, we all just said no, just
it's
peaceful
over.
non-compliance.
Same day.
Peaceful
it's
non-compliance.
Over.
Right. Just
it's
don't
over
do
same
it.
day. It's over the same day. People are wearing masks as other people are wearing masks. So the rest of them are wearing masks because they're under a worldwide spell. They're under a spell. I mean, nothing about this whole, let's not talk about that too much, but it's all nonsense. StopLookThings.com.
It's fear mongering. Yes, I love it. It's fear mongering and that's all fear. False evidence appearing real. Call it whatever you want, but we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And whoever said that quote is the most that is the most on point. The two things I tell people: we have nothing to fear but fear itself, and know thyself. Sit down and meditate. Learn to go inside, because this will tell you way more about truth than anything out there for sure. So this whole people are like, well, people have known the earth is a globe for 2,000 years. It's less than 100 years old, the deception. Less than 100 years old. You see my interview with Ruth, the 102-year-old woman? Yeah, absolutely.
And so they're getting rid of all of the old people. This is the great reset that's happening right now. Yeah. And, this is what they do. This is what they do every 100 years. So, again,
they rewrite history. They're digital book burning right now. Like you said, they're killing off all the old people. So now, and that's another thing that they've done to us, is that they've separated us, right? With all these old folk homes and stuff like that. We need our elders to live in our communities with us. We need them around, but they've separated and segregated everything and everyone.
Right. And the people that were alive before this changeover happened, they're over 100 now. So there's not many of them left. Right. I mean, but you got to look at one thing we learn from history is people don't learn from history. 1720, this thing, 1820, this thing, 1920, this thing. Everybody was wearing face muzzles and getting the thing in their arm, and everyone died. And now 2020, wonder what's going on there. Nothing to see here.
Nothing. Yes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is this lake spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting 66,000 miles an hour, and chasing the sun at 500 million miles an hour? Of course it is. Gravity, dude. Gravity.
It is. And the more, I love it, dude. And I love that. Yeah. I love having my mind blown, because it's still, dude, a couple of years and it's still fresh. I mean, that programming, and I love breaking my programs, dude. It's one of my favorite things to do, is blow my mind apart. So but this is like one of those, again, it's the fabric of your reality, the fabric of your existence, as so told to you.
Yeah. Right. This is what they want us to believe.
And why aren't there any videos of the space station being built? Like you would think, right? With
none.
I mean, we videotape everything on the planet. Like, why wouldn't we?
That would be the most filmed event ever, because Mission Control would be like, all right, Johnny, so move this over here, move that, grab this. Nothing. Yeah. You watch a spacewalk, they're doing nothing out there. They spend out there for 8 hours to tighten one nut. Yeah. Oh, that fixed the names they have for the stuff out there. It's just all nonsense. None of it's real.
Now, what about the moon? Why haven't we been back to the moon?
Because we've never went to the moon. Because the moon isn't a place to go.
So what do you think? Like, because was it a sound? I've heard that they fired a sound at the moon and it reverberated back, right? Kind of like it was hollow or something. Have you ever heard that? That
cool story, bro.
Yeah. Right. Well, right. Exactly.
Cool story.
Who said that story?
Yeah. NASA. The liars at NASA.
Yeah. What is going on here? What is this dude doing?
So he's trying to pick up his hammer and he can't, because the wires that he's hanging from won't let him reach down that far. I think he's hanging from a big balloon. He's like in a giant warehouse, and there's a huge helium balloon tied to him, and he can't get the momentum to get down.
Was it you that posted the leaked videos of like the set? They're on the set and the lights came crashing down or some shit. They had to
that's everywhere.
I don't know how true any of that stuff is, but it's funny.
I mean, if you look at any of the stuff, the moon orbiter. I mean, this thing that's a spaceship. Okay, look at this thing. It's like a tweaker shelter, and this is the orbiter meeting up with the lander. This is ridiculous. All right, this is the dumbest. It does
look like a meth head's favorite wet dream, dude, in his front yard project.
Yeah. It's unreal what people do. And if you look, why do the astronauts from the Apollo missions have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? because they're astronauts.
Dude.
Yeah. And why just before the moon missions did all these guys get together? NASA advisor, astronaut, sci-fi author, movie director, and administrator of the Apollo project. Why are they
nothing to see together? Here, man? Yeah,
nothing to see here. It's just just a coincidence. It makes absolutely no sense.
None. The whole thing, and the more of these things, it just keeps kind of making more. It comes clearer and clearer, right? And that's even when you know something. Once you become aware of something, you can't become unaware of it.
Right.
It's like, have you ever dated a girl and then next thing you know, and she drives a black VW, and the next thing you know, all you see is black VWs everywhere, but you never saw a black VW in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, once it's in your perception, it's in your realm. And that's where I think Hollywood, that is their job, that's why I look at The Matrix. That's a damn documentary, man. Right.
100%. This is the flight path from Perth to Buenos Aires. FlightAware says this is the best route, but it's too dangerous to fly over Antarctica. So you'd have to fly around it. So you have some islands out here. There's plenty of islands, or this way. But in reality, this is the route that they take. They go all the way up to the north. You have to go to either Miami or Houston, and then they stop in LA, then they stop in Sydney, then they go across, or they go over here to Europe, Singapore, and Perth. It takes like 26 hours. Yeah. Why didn't they just cut across the bottom of the ball like that? And the answer is because we don't live on a ball, right?
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things that you do. Could you spend a little time on this? Because that map, like they're showing, like this is very interesting. And I know there's that book what is it? How many that makes sense on a
16 emergency landings prove flat Earth, and it's literally one of the greatest proofs ever. You can get it for free online, the PDF. Just look it up, or go to lulu.com, or in the app under the books section. It's right there, and you could order it. It's a great coffee table book because it's just fun to pick up. But if you wanted to go, this is the flight path to Eastern Australia. But if you want to go to Western Australia, it goes all the way up here, all the way over to the Far East and Singapore and down, right? So why would it do that rather than just cut across here? Bam. Okay. That's the shortest route, but it takes that crazy route. And the answer is because this is the route. It goes all the way up across Far East, Singapore, Western Australia, a straight line. Just like I showed you. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane.
Yeah, that's why they're called planes, right?
That's why they're called planes. Nobody flies south and comes up on the other side of the Earth. The ZQ pilot said that he was going to do the first southern circumnavigation ever. Okay, interesting. Let's watch it. And so he left North Pole, went out here to Alaska, California, out here, these islands, over here to Santiago, then went down to the supposed South Pole. And then the weather was too bad. So he turned around and came back and went up through Brazil. And we're like, oh, well, he didn't get it. Well, he did it. And Guinness Book gave him the world record for southern circumnavigation. We're like, what? Right? He did southern circumnavigation, put that on a flat Earth map. This is all he did. He ran over here, touched the goalpost, and then he turned around and came back. Right. And that's circumnavigation. That's circumnavigating the globe, or just flying around the freaking world pond.
So is it a filament that's over top of us?
They call it a firmament. We don't know what it is. We don't know. Some people say there's no dome. Some people say, that most of us believe that space is liquid, space is water. So think about if you're watching a pot of water boil, you got a bubble on the bottom. Now put yourself in that bubble, right? Flat bottom, water above you, a dome, but not a physical dome, just pressure. Air pressure, holding the water. The water is the container. So is there a physical firmament? I think there is something physical, something glass-like, but I don't know. I can't go there. And if we could explore Antarctica and possibly get out to, the mountains out here, maybe the firmament attaches over there. Yeah. The Encyclopedia Americana from 1958 talks about at 80 degrees south or 85 degrees south that the dome ceiling is at 13,000 feet. That's interesting. But try to find that encyclopedia again. They're literally moving all of this stuff away, out of our reach.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what we were saying is like now, because everything's becoming digital, right? And they're putting it, it's so much easier now to just rewrite stuff,
Absolutely. I'm a big collector of all of these books. Like Jim Fetzer has a series of books called, We Never Went to the Moon. Nobody died at that school in Connecticut. Nobody died here. All of these books, and they're all banned on Amazon right now. Collect those books. They'll do one of two things for you. One, they'll be collector's items and be worth millions. Or two, they'll get you put in jail for owning them.
Right. We're not that far off, bro. I mean, it feels that way, right? It feels like, dude, if they're going to forcefully make you take some sort of medical experiment thing, and I don't know, man, like,
did you see the guy with the cowboy hat talking about it? He goes, people say, if they force the, that we should flee for the hills. He goes, I ain't fleeing nowhere. He goes, if somebody comes to my house to forcefully put some poison inside of me, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah. He must be American.
He goes, I'm going to kill him. That's it. I ain't going nowhere.
I have seen that. That's a good one.
It's a
like
great.
He's very chill.
I watch it every day. So I start my day. Right? Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm good. I can do this. And I don't recommend killing anybody. Don't kill anybody. All right. This is not advice.
Right. But I also don't recommend you kicking in someone's door to forcefully inject anybody with anything.
No.
Right?
If someone attacks me with a lethal weapon, if somebody is attacking me with a lethal weapon, I will use appropriate force to stop them.
Absolutely. And and actually I had a conversation this weekend about that. Like, because I'm a real spiritual guy. I mean, like I'm a former Marine, but I'm also spent 20 years in meditation and, plant medicines, all that good stuff, trying to wake whatever up. So I don't know, man. Yeah. I'm a peaceful guy, but if you come in my house, that's right. That's my
you want to maintain your peace. You want to maintain your peace.
Absolutely.
This is what I love. $50 million in 1972 to build this homeless tweaker shelter. And in 1964, before that, they were able to build this
the stealth
work
bomber.
of art. I mean,
it doesn't make any sense.
Here's the thing: you show this to a glober, they're like, "Oh, that's not real. That's not real." No, that is real. This is what they supposedly went to space in. It's
back amazing. Then, I mean, you could manipulate people. I mean, dude, even 20 years ago, before the internet, right? 30 years ago, I mean, CNN, they had the monopoly on the narrative, which they still do. But
there's on the app, if you hit the web button, top left button is Globebusters 24/7. It's literally the alternative to CNN. Throw that up on your TV. Yeah. Okay. And just let that play in the background all day. You'll be a happier, better, more educated person than if CNN, Fox, all of those news stations, they're not against each other. They're all on the same page.
Yep.
They cause cancer. If you watch them, you will get cancer.
Absolutely.
Whether I'm casting a spell on you or not, doesn't matter. You will get cancer. Okay. Right. If you watch them, you will die.
Yep. But that's the objective. It's fear, because it's dissonance. There's resonance and dissonance,
100%.
And they're there to make you dissonant against yourself as a being. Like this whole thing about carbon, right? And carbon. You're like, well, but we're carbon. So all they're trying to do is they get you to hate yourself as a
100%. 100%. Carbon is good.
Yeah.
Carbon is good. Plants will grow better with more carbon.
Yeah.
And they'll make more oxygen. North-south circumnavigation never been done. East-west, easily done. Been doing it forever. People that don't understand, east and west are circles around the magnetic center. The compass always has to point to the center, so east and west are circles. Yep. That's true on a ball earth or a flat earth. I'm trying to push this compass west, and I have to keep turning. So I have to follow these circles around. Those are east and west. Point east right now. Point east. Point east. Go ahead. Point east. Oh, that's south. Point a different direction. That's south. That's south. That's south.
Yeah.
Their south is every direction that you're pointing.
Right. Because
I'm here and I'm pointing this way, south. If I'm here and I'm pointing this way, that's south. South is every direction away from the center. Every straight line. I'm trying to go dead reckon west, and immediately I'm going south because I didn't correct to the north. South is every direction away from the center. That's how you can circumnavigate. You can leave New York. Where's New York? New York is over here. And I can head east, and I'm following my compass dead east, dead east, dead east, dead east, all the way around. And I'm back in New York. And I think I went around a ball, but I just went east around a lake. East is a circle. West is a circle. South is a straight line. You can't go south and magically pop up on the other side. Although that was the end of the video right there, and it magically popped back.
Yeah.
But if I go south, I'm just going that way, and I don't come back. Get it?
I do. It makes perfect sense. I do. And man, how can we get our pilots to really?
There's many pilots. No, my pilots are waking up left and right, but right now, they can't talk about it publicly because they lose their jobs. We interviewed a KLM pilot, and she was fired the next day. So, they want to keep their jobs. The Qantas pilots, they know the most because they have to do these southern routes, and the southern routes give it away. And they all talk about it amongst themselves, but they don't talk about it publicly. There's flat earthers everywhere. Okay. The flat earthers are everywhere, but they're just not talking about it. They're like, well, I'm just living my life. I'm pretty happy. I'm a Qantas pilot. I'm making good money. I travel the world. Well, if I say something, what's it going to do for me? Am I going to wake up the world? No, people are sheeple, and they're not going to, most aren't going to wake up. And a lot of people don't have the mental fortitude to go out and do what you and I are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's tough.
Yeah, it's not tough. I love it.
No, it's not. I mean, for someone that isn't trained
yes.
You're always going to reach that immediate wall of I can't go past that.
Right. Anything else before we have to wrap up? We only got a few minutes left.
I know. Man, you covered everything. I think I'm just, again, honored that you showed up here for me. Thank you.
No problem. I love talking to anybody about this, because you never know who you're going to talk to, who's going to talk to somebody else. If everybody would just talk to one other person, we'd all be set. Okay.
Amen, man. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's another thing that I really like about you and your message. So everybody knows is that there's the spiritual aspect to it. You know what I mean? It's that's
how they're getting away with this. This is a spiritual war, whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. That's what it is. And that's how they're getting away with it, because they've taken people so far away from spirituality. And they've led them into this godless universe, infinite universe, where they're weakened. They don't know what the hell is going on. This is a spiritual war beyond what most truthers, beyond what you and I even imagine it is, because this insanity that runs this world it's insane. Insanity is insane. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So again, it's a spiritual war, and whether you want to admit it or not, doesn't matter. They know it, and that's how they play the game.
Well, yeah, and that's the saying, right? What is the greatest accomplishment the devil ever had, right? Is that he doesn't exist, kind of deal, right? And but they've turned us against nature, right? And that's what kind of what we were saying about carbon and stuff. But what did they tell you immediately on this whole thing? Lock yourselves inside. Don't go out in nature, right? Which is where that's where the healing. That's why it's called.
And don't go to the gym, but you can go to the liquor store since you're locked at home.
Right.
Don't go to the gym. Yeah. Right. And don't get sunlight, and don't take vitamin C. And don't do anything like that. Don't do anything. Just trust Dr. Fauci. He's the best.
Yeah, Saint Fauci. Right. Yeah. Al Fauci. No, Dave, man, dude, I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Everybody, check out the app. The Friend Finder is going to be a game changer coming out, hopefully in the next couple of days. And you can, if you forget the name of the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, because it is a long name, it's by Blue Water Bay. Don't buy the knockoff on the Google Play Store, because it is not my app. So people don't send me an email telling me my app stinks, because my app is the highest rated app in the App Store. You can just scan this QR code or go to flatearthdave.com, flatearthdave.com, and that's you'll find my website there, and links to the app and everything else. But the app is the best way to learn, because you search Google for any of this stuff, you'll find nothing. You won't find your interview. You won't find anything. Yeah. And if you search, Flat Earth, the name of my video, the name of my channel, you're going to get the propaganda stuff from the guy that calls himself Professor Dave, who's just a snarky idiot straw man argument guy. And you're going to get all of these propped up videos that will just tire your mind out and make you give up. The app will show you the way, and just read the reviews. Don't buy the app. Don't buy the app. Just go read the reviews. That'll turn you into a flat earther.
Yeah. And for God's sake, stop listening to Wikipedia. Like on YouTube, under anything that's flat earth related, it tells you that it's an archaic, ridiculous thing. You're like, dude, that's how I know. Again,
yes, there you go.
That's how I know we're onto it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, man. Thanks. Awesome. Send me a link when this is up and I'll put it on the app. All right.
Absolutely, Dave. You got it, brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate you,
Thanks.
man.
See you. Thanks. Bye-bye.